Welcome and thanks for joining us. I'm here with attorney Trevor Rockstad with the law firm Davis & Crump. And today we're talking about a drug called Invokana. You may have seen commercials for it and other drugs like it on television, but there's apparently some danger associated with it, and we wanted to find out a little bit more about it. So Trevor, what is Invokana and what's it all about? What's it prescribed to do?
Thanks, Bill. Invokana is actually a member of a class of drugs called sodium glucose cotransporter 2 inhibitors. There's several others in this class, but Invokana, which is made by Johnson & Johnson, was the first one approved by the FDA, and it has the widest market share in this particular class of drugs. Invokana is used to treat type 2 diabetes. That's what it's approved for by the FDA. However, we do have evidence that it's been used off-label to treat type 1 diabetes, which is not an indication that has been given to that drug by the FDA.
Certainly people with diabetes need treatment of some kind. So what's the danger associated with Invokana?
Well, Bill, there's several different injuries that are associated with Invokana. The primary injury that we're pursuing right now is ketoacidosis, which is a very serious condition that's caused by this drug, which can lead to coma and death. And we're also looking at cases involving kidney failure and cardiovascular events, including heart attack and stroke.
How do we know that Invokana is associated with those injuries?
Well, there have been clinical trials related to these drugs, this class of drugs, including Invokana, and we see evidence of the causal association between the drug and these conditions. For example, the cardiovascular event profile, one of Johnson & Johnson's own trials, showed a hazard ratio of 6.9 for cardiovascular events, which means that somebody taking Invokana had a 690% higher likelihood of developing a cardiovascular event than somebody who took placebo, which to me, Bill, is shocking.
This is one of a class of drugs that is used to treat diabetes, but why this particular drug? You mentioned that it has a huge market share.
It does, and as we see in these cases all too frequently, it's profit motivated. Johnson & Johnson spent millions of dollars promoting this drug, print advertisement and television advertisement, internet advertisement, and they were really hoping for a blockbuster drug. They got out early. They wanted to develop this new drug that would be the next great thing for diabetes patients. Unfortunately, it's got tons of risk associated with it.
So Johnson & Johnson, the manufacturer, knows about the risk associated with Invokana. Have they done anything about it? Have they warned anybody?
Well, for years after the drug was put on the market, Bill, they didn't warn anybody about these events and these risks, which is really, truly, that's the sad part of this case. Fortunately for patients and for physicians, in December of 2015, the FDA required Johnson & Johnson to put a new warning on the label for Invokana, warning about ketoacidosis. However, the cardiovascular event, that hazard ratio has not been listed in the label. There is no warning about those events as of today's date.
So Trevor, for people who have used Invokana and may have sustained this type of injury or illness that you're talking about, what is their recourse?
Well, the attorneys at Davis & Crump are investigating and pursuing lawsuits against these manufacturers for putting this dangerous drug on the market. And we encourage anyone who sees this to contact us so that we can fight for them and make sure that there's justice obtained from these manufacturers.
And let me be clear that Invokana is still on the market and is still being prescribed?
That's correct, Bill, it is.
We're talking with attorney Trevor Rockstad with the law firm Davis & Crump about the dangers of Invokana.